So, town centres. You constantly hear people talking about the death of the town centre. Well, some town centres are dying, many are struggling, but most are simply going through a change. Most have got way too much retail space in them or in the wider town, and it is a change that they're going to go through as a consequence of internet trading emerging and us not needing as much physical bricks and mortar space. But town centres have gone through huge change through our history. We really should look back at what a town centre was 60, 70 years ago. The town centre then was almost certainly the centre of the town's economy. It was the core of where necessary activities happened, where people went to buy their provisions, went to undertake business. Around the town centre, there would be a ring of mixed use where you had mills, workspace, and housing. And all of those different uses would mix together and you'd create footfall from those uses. And over the last 60 odd years, there's been a drive to separate those. Businesses have moved to the office park or the industrial estate. Provisions retailing has moved to the supermarket out of town. You've had retail parks appear, the housing's been moved out of the town centre. So that's very much split that demand and changed that town centre. So now the town centre is quite often little more than cafes and comparison goods retail, and very, very different from what it once was. And all of those are essentially optional activities. So a key way to strengthen a town centre is to bring necessary activities back. Living space, workspace. Workspace is hard because quite often in a small town, it costs more to deliver new good office space than it's actually worth. So it doesn't get delivered unless you can find novel ways to do it. So hopefully the toolkit I've given you will help you come up with ideas to strengthen these town centres, because simply filling the empty shops with whatever or isn't necessarily going to fix that. Empty shops are empty for a reason, so we've got to really look at fundamental problems underlying that town centre. And I want to conclude by giving you one idea. Might work, might not, but it's something I'm going to share with you. And that idea is, well, here, let's have a look. This is Grimsby. This is a town centre in yellow that's quite weak. And in pink, we can see where retail has appeared over the last 50 or 60 years. There we've got retail parks, big box centres, multiple huge supermarkets where you can buy pretty much everything that you once bought in the town centre when you went there to buy your weekly shopping. And the town centre has suffered in consequence to that. So what if we said we want to strengthen that town centre? We want to draw a line around that town centre and say, why is it that that has to trade for restrictive hours on a Sunday? Why don't we allow that town centre, but only the town centre within that line, to trade with unrestricted hours on a Sunday? But that retail park or that supermarket that's further out can't, so we bring that footfall to the town centre. Then those supermarkets that could only trade if they were in the town centre would probably want to move there. In that town centre, up at the top of the yellow bit, we've got a really weak shopping mall from the 60s or 70s or something like that. It's an ideal spot to fit in a supermarket or a couple of supermarkets, where if we design those supermarkets so they're integrated with the town centre, so when you left the car park, you walked past a couple of other shops, maybe a butcher's, maybe a coffee shop, you'd probably call in and engage in those other things while going to the supermarket. And you bring footfall to the town centre. And when that supermarket moves from that big pink site out of the centre, well, what else can we put there? Well, we can put houses there within walking distance of the town centre rather than building them on the green belt. So we're starting to create change in the centre. Anyway, that might work, might not work. It's an idea I want to leave you with, and hopefully you can use this to come up with your own ideas to make urban places better.